Well, I was just going to say, have you heated this up already?
No, I haven't done anything.
Fine.
That's from the sun.
Oh,
Sitting out here. I mean, it's it's already. It was 30 degrees centigrade, and just from the heat from the sun.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
It's been, it's up to 47. So it already went up like just sitting 10 degrees. It's pretty hot out here.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is preheat, say in the summertime. In the wintertime, I'll preheat with this to get it up to about, in the wintertime, I'll get it to about, I use centigrade because that's what I've been roasting with, so it's numbers that I know.
Yep.
Why change
you learned it?
Yeah, well, we had a mechanical thermometer when we first started, and it was in centigrade. So, I learned all the numbers in centigrade. So basically, you're all plugged in. So all we're going to be doing with the plate is just making the motor go for now. So we're going to plug that in, get that going, and I'll say this while it's heating up. I'm going to do a little preheat here, and basically.
Timer?
Yeah, I just set it to an hour. The whole process is going to be 17 minutes, but I'm going to let it preheat up.
Look, it's going. You could see it jumping up.
Wow, wow, look at that.
Yeah. So, a couple things. I mean, you guys, I don't know how much coffee you drink. The idea is not to make it stale. I mean, if you roast a pound and it sits around for 3 weeks, you end up with it's going to be stale coffee.
Right.
So basically, this container full is as much as that roaster can handle, and it makes like a full pound, maybe a squeak more. And you can't put any more in these things, you can't handle it.
Okay.
So we're talking about, everything we're talking about is a full can of beans, because if you roast half the can of beans, and you got the same amount of heat going into a half a can of beans, everything's going to happen faster. So you have to be careful. So, remember that we're talking about roasting a pound. Now, for Michelle and I mean, the pound, we usually have like 1 cup a day. I mean, once in a blue moon we have a second cup. So, and if somebody comes over.
Right.
So a pound is basically lasting us, probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
Right.
Which is about.
I go through about it's just me drinking it.
A pound in how long?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so it's about the same. So I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
The thing what you don't want is like a month, 3 months. That's the last time you guys said, "Oh, I roasted it. Still got a pound from 6 months ago."
I know.
I mean, what the heck is
Florida.
that? Yeah. Oh.
We roasted before we left.
So, all right. So that's the deal. So you're gonna be doing a pound. You basically fill this can up, and that's why we just found that this can, you don't have to measure when you use this can. So we're gonna let this thing go until it's pretty close. In the summertime, I like to see, because it'll cool right down as soon as you throw the beans in there. I like to have it sit at about 140 for the first time period. There's 2 things that happen to the beans. Yeah, it's going to go, well, I'm going to let it get hotter. I'm going to let it get closer to 180 or 190, and then I'm going to drop the beans in there, and it'll just cool right. The plate's going to cool right down with a pound of cold beans in there.
Mm-hmm.
Things are a little different. I roasted outside all during the winter, and it wasn't, I picked days, it really wasn't that cold. It works out just fine. So
it goes, and then you keep it in there until it reaches.
Yeah, well, I'll show you. There's so what's going on in the roast process, the beans, they call it cracking. If you look at a bean, it's kind of split apart. Like if you look at these beans, they're not split apart. You know what a coffee bean looks like.
Yeah.
Right. So these things they puff up, and that crack. This is a nut from a bean, right? So that will split apart, and it'll crack, and the bean will puff. The bean will puff up. So that happens twice.
Okay.
The first crack
is there any water in here?
No. The first crack is not so violent. The second crack is. The first crack is you hear the cracking sound like Rice Krispies, and you get a little bit of smoke. On the second crack, it'll be like really going, like a really wild bowl of Rice Krispies, and you'll get a lot of smoke. At that point, the thing is basically done. Second crack. So first crack, second crack. And then, there's all these like roast profiles. For these beans that I use, I got the, I don't know what you guys ended up buying. I got the Sweet Marie is a liquid amber.
That's what we got.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what this is. And I just find, you know, I figured out what kind of makes them taste good because you can adjust the temperature, like how long you want it to take to go to first crack and then second crack. I usually have figured about somewhere around, you know, 12, 13 minutes. You know, I want to see the thing hit first crack, and that usually takes a temperature of about 213 degrees centigrade. And you'll see, it's very repeatable. It's not going to be like every time. It's a whole different thing. You can count on
Can
it.
I put this temperature in the humidity? No.
Now, the temperature is just going to
It's
help.
just because everything's...
Yeah. So there it is. It's about 200.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just gonna take this thing off and throw it in there. I also have a clean pair of gloves that don't have grease and stuff on them because occasionally what happens is, and I'm also going to start the timer now. You want to start your timer, and basically we're watching. See it cool right down to, you know, right away from 200. It's already down to 123. I'm going to watch time versus temperature. Alright, so that's what we're going to be looking at. And basically you're just going to let it run here. And what you have to be careful for, everybody's thing's a little differently. Once in a while this thing will shift directions, and you want to make sure that all the beans are being, you know, spun around. I think Jonathan worked out, if you put those bigger rollers on, then you probably worked out your problem. Because your beans were not all swirling around, they just sit and burn. Yeah, so... It goes, well, yeah, because it's bogging down a little bit every once in a while. You have to make sure that, before I put this on, that this guy pops up every once in a while. I can tell when it starts doing that back and forth too much, then the thing is popped out of the socket. You have to push it down.
Yeah, you can see them nearly roasting.
Oh, then nothing's happening yet, but you will.
You don't see the little brown?
Oh, yeah, nothing turned brown yet.
Oh.
We're a ways from turning brown. Somewhere around 7 minutes in, you'll start to see them turn slightly brown. And I clean this glass with alcohol because it gets all full of, you know, resin.
Yeah.
Like an old bong.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like bong resin.
It's doing the same thing.
Yeah, oil. The oils.
That's right, a lot of oil is.
Yeah. But it's
this
real.
actually
It's
brings
real.
out the oil, right?
Yep. Yeah, you'll see when we're roasted. And when it's done, it really won't smell like coffee. It won't smell like coffee for like, you shouldn't. See, I'm roasting now because these beans really will be drinkable in like 2 days after you roast them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously you can drink them right away, but
Right.
they peak out. It takes about 2 days. But you'll see when it's done, it won't really smell like coffee. But oh my God, in 2 days, it'll be like heaven.
Oh.